Imagine the crackling of an intense battle of ideas, where every criticism Thomas Piketty receives is not an obstacle, but a spark that ignites his analytical passion. This economist, known for his studies on inequality, does not shy away from opposing opinions. On the contrary, he faces them like a scientist confronting a mystery, unraveling each argument with precision. Just as a jeweler carefully evaluates each raw gem in search of perfection, Piketty examines each deep criticism to refine his economic theories. In this process, every comment is not seen as a simple attack, but as an opportunity to reinforce his fragile symphony of ideas, harmonizing knowledge until reaching a crescendo of collective understanding. How does he transform biting words into a melodic score of information? Therein lies the true art of his intellect. But how does his thinking really strengthen in the face of criticism? Just like a poorly assembled sandwich is perfected, where each ingredient must find its exact place to not spill over with the first bite, Piketty dissects each comment. He meticulously analyzes down to its foundations, detects its weakest points, and reconstructs it under a prism of intellectual solidity. Often, his critics raise objections about the methodologies employed or the conclusions he reaches. However, he is not daunted. Take, for instance, the intense discussion generated by his work capital in the 21st century. Far from being a simple rejection, these criticisms were orchestrated by Piketty into a game of mathematical perfection, achieving refinements in his work that ultimately strengthened his credibility as a globally renowned economist. Let's take a closer look at those interactions that shaped Piketty's theories. His detractors were no less than luminaries of the global economy. Their differences were a crucible of intellectual passion, where even the most convoluted critical comment sparked a flash of clairvoyance. Against all odds, Piketty used every opportunity with the same enthusiasm an opera uses to sing its off-key notes. In every refutation, just as in music, there was a dissonant tone that Piketty quickly adapted as if it were a piece to fit into his relentless quest for the perfect economic melody. And so, when criticism hits like a drum resonates in an orchestra, his arguments become the plucked string of a violin, refining his narrative in every interaction. The true magic lies in Piketty's ability to transform criticism into a leitmotif of his career. Imagine that every negative observation is like a distorted mirror that allows him to see himself with new nuances, providing unexpected clarity. This phenomenon is not a fortuitous accident, but the result of an endless learning process. The morning begins with an opposing comment, and by evening it has been turned into a cornerstone of his expanded theory. Through this cycle, he appropriates each phrase, internalizes it, and then dissects it, turning even the rawest doubts into a golden trophy that enriches the intellectual tapestry of his work. Thus, he never closes the page of a book without first exploring what each notation has to offer to his world of ideas, continuously enriching his own universe of knowledge.